Dear friends, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. I'm sure that all of you recognize this great quote from a great person. That is none other than Mother Teresa of Calcutta. September 5th, 2022 marks the 25th death anniversary of Mother Teresa, widely known as Teresa of Kolkata, and honored as Saint Teresa of Calcutta by the Catholic Church and now the whole world. She was born on August 26 in 1910 in Skopje, the capital of the present-day European country of North Macedonia and a part of the Ottoman Empire at that time. After spending 18 years in her hometown, Teresa moved to Dublin, Ireland, and then to India. Eventually, she became an Indian. In fact, an Albanian Indian identity she got. In 1950, she founded the Missionaries of Charity, a religious congregation of now over 5,000 missionaries that vow wholeheartedly to serve the poorest of the poor absolutely free. One of the greatest humanitarians of our age, Saint Teresa of Calcutta, as she was called after her canonization in 2016, showed the world how to love and serve the less fortunate, the marginalized, the poor around us. Small and diminutive in size and stature, Mother Teresa made up for it in her zeal and dedication to the people she loved and helped. Most often, those who were seen as outcast and marginalized by their communities. The sick, the suffering, the abandoned, the orphans, she served all of them, the poorest of the poor. When the devout nun of Albanian descent won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, she donated her entire cash prize to the poor in India. In her long life, she touched millions of lives through her presence and acts of charity, as well as the truths she shared from her experience of Jesus, personal experience of her faith. As someone who embodied the servant nature of Christ, being his hands and feet to others, she left us with enduring wisdom to inspire our faith. In her words and especially in her actions, we see that a life of love, however big or small, quiet or recognized, rich or poor, is significant, meaningful, and powerful. Mother Teresa was a woman of intense faith who fervently believed the world could be a better place if we all desired to be so. And we can work drop by drop, bit by bit, person by person, this world a better place to live in. She dedicated her life to empower the disenfranchised, the poor, the marginalized, the secluded, the refugees, and taught us through her actions to cultivate and live an attitude of faith. And she has taught people so many things, and I pick up from there 7 areas we can learn from her. First of all, her life will teach us that make other people happy. Spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without living happier. When we interact with someone, we must make the other person happier. Our face must be one of happier face. We must welcome. There should be gratitude to God and hospitality to people. Poverty, according to Mother Teresa, is not exclusive of being hungry or homeless. Many of us think that poverty means being homeless or not having food to eat, etc. But she says it includes feeling unwanted, uncared for, and unloved. Much of the world spends a great amount of time concerned with themselves. That's why once Time magazine labeled millennials as the me generation. Have the faith to care more for other people, to truly look outward. We must make people happier. The second thing we can learn is be faithful in small things. Mother Teresa once said, be faithful in small things because it is in them that your strength lies. But very often we don't think that the smaller things. We think for greater things, bigger things, and number one things, etc. And Mother Teresa teaches us that to be faithful in small things. The third thing she says, build it anyway. Build it anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build it anyway. You continue to do good. Someone else may destroy what you build, but build it anyway. Do not build negative things. Be positive. Third, go home and love your family. Someone asked Mother Teresa once, what can I do to promote world peace? And she says, go home and love your family. Charity begins at home. Love your family. Show your concerns and care for them, your love for them. Your children, your wife, your husband, your grandparents, parents, everyone. Love them. We are not in this journey of life alone. Please remember that. Family members and friends are there to support us, to lift us up. Have faith in them. Don't rely on your own strength. We need each other. Interdependence is the mantra. Next point we can learn from Mother is this: be the leader. When we look at everywhere, you find that we are all leaders in one way or other. Do not wait for leaders to come and serve you. Do it alone, person to person. We are all called to be leaders, leading one another through love. She says also, faithful is successful. The famous quote from Mother is this: God had not called me to be successful. He has called me to be faithful. Now this is against the popular what you call values of the world. The worldly value is everyone wants to be successful, number one, achieving greater things, etc. But people forget to be faithful to God, faithful to one another, faithful to himself or herself. We are called to be faithful, but we are called to be faithful with one another, with God. Another point we can learn from Mother is faith in action. In the Jesuit spirituality, we always say that faith that does justice. And Saint Ignatius himself said that love is not shown in words but in deeds, in action. And that's what Mother Teresa says. Faith in action is love, and love in action is service. Faith is more than a belief, it's an action. As we actively develop our faith, we will feel greater love for other people. Transcending nature of faith, that you are not here for yourself. Move out of yourself to love others. That love leads to service. Take a look at your life. Are you showing love in action, in everyday life, in your families, in your workplace? There are many examples of faithful people throughout the history. And today we can look at Mother Teresa as one of them. Mother's quotes are superb, Some of the quotes she says simply attracts people. And it makes them to reflect. And it can be life-changing. Some of them I'll quote. She says, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Because we will be biased, we will be looking at their faults rather than looking at the goodness and love them. She also says, peace begins with a smile, not hatred and not showing anger towards people. You cannot build peace with anger. It should be with a smile, means love. We fear the future because we are wasting today. Look at the nations and the world today, whether it is environmentally, whether it is politically or economically. Today we are wasting many things, our time, etc., and we are worried about the future. What she says is excellent, clear. Not all of us can do great things, but we do small things with great love. I said that quote in the beginning itself. Beautiful meaning. And she also teaches us, yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let's begin today. Rather than crying over the spilt milk of yesterday, or looking forward and the future and worried about the uncertainties of the future. Let us live together happily, lovingly. Every time you smile at someone, it's an action of love, a gift to the person, a beautiful thing. Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless, beautiful. Do not think that love, in order to be genuine, has to be extraordinary. What we need is to love without getting tired. Fantastic quotations. The most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. Love is a fruit in season at all times and within reach of every hand, she says. There are plenty of, every word is a wisdom word. For example, she says, be happy in the moment, that's enough. Each moment is all we need, not more. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Prayer is not asking. Prayer is putting oneself in the hands of God, at His disposition, and listening to His voice in the depth of our hearts. You see how profound these quotes are. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. But together we can do great things. That interconnectedness. And we can achieve greater things if we are together. Life is a song, she says. Sing it. Life is a struggle. Accept it. True love is love that causes us pain, that hurts, and yet brings us joy. That's why we must pray to God and ask Him to give us the courage to love. How profound these words are. Poverty was not created by God. It is we who have caused it, you and I, through our egotism. Prayer in action is love. Love in action is service. There are plenty of quotes like this beautifully placed before us to reflect. And this anniversary, that is 5th of September, perhaps it is good for us to reflect. We celebrate Teachers' Day too. And I think she is a great teacher who can be a model for all of us. Mother Teresa is known to be a saint in her time while she was alive. Her compassion and guidance has touched many, many people. Mother Teresa, revered for her work with the poor in India and the whole world, has been proclaimed a saint by Pope Francis in a ceremony at the Vatican in 2016. Francis said, Saint Teresa had defended the unborn, sick and abandoned, and had shamed world leaders for the crimes of poverty they themselves created. Mother Teresa, in all aspects of her life, was a generous dispenser of divine mercy, making herself available for everyone through her welcome and defense of human life. Those unborn and those abandoned and discarded. She was committed to defending life, ceaselessly proclaiming that the unborn are the weakest, the smallest, the most vulnerable. She bowed down before those who were spent, life to die on the side of the road, seeing in them their God-given dignity. She made her voice heard before the powers of this world, so that they might recognize their guilt for the crimes of poverty they created. For Mother Teresa, mercy was the salt which gave flavor to her work. It was the light which shone in the darkness of the many who no longer had tears to shed for their poverty and suffering. I quote from Pope Francis. He says, her mission to the urban and existential peripheries remains for us today an eloquent witness to God's closeness to the poorest of the poor. Today, I pass on this emblematic figure of womanhood and of consecrated life to the whole world of volunteers. May she be your model of holiness. I think perhaps we may have some difficulty in calling her Saint Teresa. Her holiness is so near to us, so tender and so fruitful that we continue to spontaneously call her Mother Teresa. May this tireless worker of mercy help us increasingly to understand that our only criterion for action is gratuitous love, free from every ideology and all obligations, offered freely to everyone without distinction of language, culture, ethnicity, race, religion, or language. Mother Teresa loved to say, perhaps I don't speak their language, but I can smile. Let us carry her smile in our hearts and give it to those we meet along our journey, especially those who suffer. In this way, we will open up opportunities of joy and hope for our many brothers and sisters who are discouraged and who stand in need of understanding and tenderness. My dear brothers and sisters, as we celebrate her 25th death anniversary on 5th of September, let's join with hundreds and hundreds of Mother Teresa sisters we call the charity sisters who are working all over the world. Some of them are suffering, some of them have been kidnapped, some of them have been uh, accused of all sorts of things in various parts of the world. Let's join with Mother Teresa's sisters and the thousands and thousands of poor people whom the, the charity missionaries of Charity Sisters serve in difficult circumstances. Let's join with them. Let us thank this great personality of Saint Mother Teresa. And let's also pray through her intercession that she may intervene for us, intercede for us, and make us also worthy human beings to live in our times, so that we may be able to contribute to the making of this world a better place. Wish you a very happy Teachers' Day and also all the blessings of Mother Teresa. Thank you and God bless all of us.